For his very first role, he was nominated for an Oscar. Not bad, is it, for a young man who really had a very big break opposite, quite frankly, one of the biggest stars on the planet way back in 1956. Sadly, though, for us, he's just left. As ever, let me explain. Morning, Neil Sean here, nice to see you, thank you so much for joining me. Yes, when you think about it, when you are an actor and you're starting out, you often build up to those big things, don't you? But it wasn't like that, of course, for the debonair, dashing, good-looking Don Murray, who starred opposite the beautiful Marilyn Monroe in the 1956 epic, directed by Josh Logan, Bus Stop. Yes, you see, what had happened was Marilyn had got this brand new contract via Daryl Zanuck and Fox, and basically she had sort of control over many things: director approval, script approval and co-star approval. So how did Don Murray basically get that role? Well, it was interesting because many years later I did meet him briefly when he came over to London to help promote a TV series that he was in, and he was still dashing, girls, still good looking and very, very sweet man, you know, has to be said. But as he pointed out, he actually had no idea because he never was formally auditioned by Marilyn, you know. I mean, she could have said yes or no. Originally they were hoping to get some sort of big names, you know, to co-star. Marlon Brando was rumoured, but apparently Fox felt that he may overshadow her. You've got to remember just how powerful Marilyn was at this particular point. She'd had Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, How to Marry a Millionaire, and of course The 7-Year Itch now behind her. This was a new, rejuvenated, more serious actress, literally forming her own production company a year later to make The Prince and the Showgirl. But you see, Don Murray was just one thing to Marilyn Monroe: young and very good looking, and at 30 she was thinking, would he look too young, in fact, to play her love interest? Well, as we all know, it worked out for the very best. Now, what happened was, Bus Stop, as he pointed out, was a big success for 20th Century Fox, and he was offered the opportunity to continue down a 7-year contract route, but he shocked all the studio bosses by refusing to sign on for such a long thing. What he did was, inspired by Marilyn's advice, and she said, look, don't get tied into the long contract because they will force you to do movies that you don't want to do, and clearly you're in it for your love of acting, which Don was. And he was really grateful, he said, for that advice, because nobody basically said. All the agents and managers really pushed you to sign for those big contracts so that they got a permanent pay deal, as you can imagine. Now, he told me that Marilyn, you see, had turned down movies like The Girl in the Red Velvet Swing and all sorts of other fluff and nonsense because she wanted to move into heavier roles. So he didn't. And as he said, he literally owed his career, quite frankly, to the advice that the international icon that Marilyn was, in a time, he said, when really she didn't need to put herself out there. He was new to the game. He said he was so green, he didn't understand where the camera marks were. She literally was helping him and directing him through the movie, something that I think you can tell shines through, even though through the expert direction of Josh Logan. After, of course, that, Don literally went down his own path, resurfacing again, literally in big TV shows like Knots Landing, and finally the very big TV show for him, which was very eerie. Do you remember this one? Twin Peaks, way back in 2017. But what I find fascinating is this, that Don himself said that if he'd have played the game, he could have possibly been as big, if you like, as Paul Newman and all the other big greats of that particular era, the Montgomery Cliffs. Apparently, according to him, Daryl F. Zanuck sat him down and said, I can make you the biggest male star here at 20th Century Fox. Something that he told every single person that came through the door. But as Don said, yes, you could, but literally, if they gave you the wrong script, it was your fault, not theirs, if they decided to axe your contract. Don, as I said, had a wonderful and long-lasting career. One of the things, though, he did wish he'd appeared in, he told me, was none other than the brilliant NBC show Little House on the Prairie, a personal favourite for him and his family, and more importantly, he said it was the sort of television that he would have liked to have been involved with. Don hit his 90s, and sadly we lost him a few days ago, but he will be forever known on screen, starring opposite the beautiful Marilyn way back in 1956's Bus Stop. It's always nice to remember those people that have made such a big impact. Did you like Don Murray, and did you watch any of his films or TV series, and what were your particular favourites? As ever, do let me know in the comments below, and please like and share. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.